1. Mind control. To live as a Stoic, it's crucial to stop replaying the past in your mind and to cease worrying about the future. Both of these mental patterns pull you away from the present, stripping you of your power. The Stoic philosophy teaches that the present moment is where your true strength lies. When you focus too much on what has already happened or what may come, you lose sight of the here and now, and with it, the ability to shape your own reality. A Stoic must learn to discipline their mind, as it is a powerful tool capable of crafting the life you experience. Your thoughts shape your perceptions, and your perceptions in turn shape your emotions and reactions. This is why mind control is so important in Stoic practice. It's not enough to simply try to avoid negative thoughts. The goal is to harness your mind, using it as an ally in the pursuit of virtue and inner peace. Think of your mind as a tool that, when directed properly, helps you navigate life with clarity and resilience. It should never run wild, dominated by unchecked impulses or emotions. By controlling your thoughts, you actively guide your emotional responses and mental state, preventing external events or insults from controlling you. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, if someone attempted to control your body and enslave you, you would fight for your freedom. Yet how often do we allow others to control our minds with their words? When we hold on to insults and let them dictate our emotional state, we give away our mental freedom. The Stoic way is to recognize that your true power lies in your response to external events, not in the events themselves. It's about taking charge of your mind and maintaining mental fortitude. By practicing mind control, you not only protect your peace but also cultivate a life of resilience and tranquility in the face of life's challenges. 2. Mastering emotional reactions. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that while we cannot control external events, we have complete control over how we respond to them. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes that our emotional reactions to challenges or insults are within our power. Even when the events themselves are not, it is easy to let negative emotions such as anger, frustration, or hurt control us, especially when others insult or criticize us. However, Stoicism teaches that we do not have to let these emotions take over. Instead, we can choose how to respond to them, turning emotional reactions into opportunities for growth and wisdom. The Stoics viewed emotions not as enemies, but as signals that we can interpret and manage through reason. This doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring emotions, but understanding them and responding thoughtfully. For instance, when faced with an insult or criticism, instead of reacting impulsively, we should pause and consider why we feel upset. Is the insult truly important, or is it a reflection of the other person's own struggles? By gaining this perspective, we can respond rationally and calmly rather than letting our emotions cloud our judgment. In practicing this kind of emotional control, we begin to free ourselves from the influence of external events. The more we master our emotional reactions, the less power negative emotions have over us. When we develop this skill, we can face life's challenges with greater resilience, viewing adversity as a chance to practice virtues like patience and fortitude, rather than as something that diminishes our peace. The key is not to let our emotional impulses dictate our actions. Stoicism teaches us that we can choose how to respond, ensuring that our reactions are always aligned with our values and not with fleeting feelings. As we continue practicing emotional mastery, we build a solid foundation for maintaining inner tranquility no matter what life throws our way. 3. The importance of perception. A key principle in Stoicism is that our perception of the world shapes our experience of it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that we have the power to control how we perceive the events in our lives. The way we view situations, whether we see them as obstacles or opportunities, determines how we feel and react to them. Stoicism emphasizes that external circumstances are not inherently good or bad. It is our perception that gives them meaning. For example, when faced with a difficult situation, we can choose to see it as a challenge that helps us grow, or we can view it as an unfair burden. The Stoic approach encourages us to see adversity as an opportunity to practice virtues like resilience, patience, and wisdom. By shifting our perspective, we can turn negative experiences into stepping stones for personal growth, rather than allowing them to lead us into despair or frustration. This idea of perception is closely tied to the concept of emotional control. The Stoics understood that our emotions often arise from how we interpret the world around us. If we choose to interpret a setback as a failure, we may feel defeated. But if we interpret the same setback as a lesson or a chance to improve, we can maintain our emotional balance and keep moving forward with a clear mind. In everyday life, this means we must be mindful of how we perceive things. Are we letting our emotions dictate how we view a situation? Are we focusing on what is within our control, or are we giving power to things beyond our influence? The Stoic approach invites us to examine our perceptions regularly and choose to see life through a lens of rationality and virtue, not through the distorted views of fear, anger, or frustration. Ultimately, the Stoic philosophy teaches that by mastering our perceptions, we gain control over how we experience the world. With this control, we can achieve inner peace regardless of what is happening around us. Our mind becomes a fortress unshaken by external events, and we are better equipped to navigate life with tranquility and wisdom. 4. Living in the present. A key principle in Stoicism is that our perception of the world shapes our experience of it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that we have the power to control how we perceive the events in our lives. The way we view situations, whether we see them as obstacles or opportunities, determines how we feel and react to them. Stoicism emphasizes that external circumstances are not inherently good or bad. It is our perception that gives them meaning. For example, when faced with a difficult situation, we can choose to see it as a challenge that helps us grow, or we can view it as an unfair burden. The Stoic approach encourages us to see adversity as an opportunity to practice virtues like resilience, patience, and wisdom. By shifting our perspective, we can turn negative experiences into stepping stones for personal growth, rather than allowing them to lead us into despair or frustration. This idea of perception is closely tied to the concept of emotional control. The Stoics understood that our emotions often arise from how we interpret the world around us. If we choose to interpret a setback as a failure, we may feel defeated. But if we interpret the same setback as a lesson or a chance to improve, we can maintain our emotional balance and keep moving forward with a clear mind. In everyday life, this means we must be mindful of how we perceive things. Are we letting our emotions dictate how we view a situation? Are we focusing on what is within our control, or are we giving power to things beyond our influence? The Stoic approach invites us to examine our perceptions regularly and choose to see life through a lens of rationality and virtue, not through the distorted views of fear, anger, or frustration. Ultimately, the Stoic philosophy teaches that by mastering our perceptions, we gain control over how we experience the world. With this control, we can achieve inner peace regardless of what is happening around us. Our mind becomes a fortress unshaken by external events, and we are better equipped to navigate life with tranquility and wisdom. 5. Responding to challenges. Stoicism teaches us to view challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth. Life is full of difficulties, and it's easy to feel defeated or overwhelmed by setbacks. However, the Stoics believed that every challenge, no matter how daunting, is a chance to practice virtue and develop inner strength, instead of seeing adversity as something that limits us. We can embrace it as a tool for personal development. Marcus Aurelius, in particular, highlighted that obstacles are not roadblocks but pathways to action. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that the very things that seem to hinder our progress can, in fact, propel us forward if we approach them with the right mindset. Challenges give us the opportunity to practice patience, perseverance, discipline, and resilience, virtues that build character and fortitude. When we face difficulties, it's important to reframe our thinking. Instead of complaining or feeling sorry for ourselves, we can ask, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow through this experience? This shift in perspective is a powerful Stoic practice. By viewing obstacles as a chance to strengthen our virtues, we transform hardship into an essential part of our journey toward wisdom and self-improvement. Additionally, Stoicism teaches us not to become emotionally overwhelmed by challenges. While it's natural to feel frustration or disappointment when things go wrong, the Stoics encourage us to maintain a clear and rational mindset. Rather than reacting impulsively, we should take a step back, assess the situation, and respond in a thoughtful way. By doing so, we prevent our emotions from clouding our judgment and can approach challenges with calmness and clarity. Ultimately, the Stoic view of challenges is empowering. Instead of avoiding or resenting difficulties, we learn to embrace them with resilience and a steady mind. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity for personal growth, a chance to refine our virtues, and a step toward greater inner peace. This mindset allows us to face life's ups and downs with strength, knowing that we have the ability to turn any challenge into a lesson in virtue. 6. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics understood that emotions are a natural part of the human experience, but they also recognized that it's how we manage and respond to these emotions that determines our peace of mind. Stoicism doesn't advocate for suppressing emotions. Instead, it encourages understanding and mastering them through reason and self-awareness. By doing so, we can navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and resilience. The first step in developing emotional intelligence is becoming aware of our emotions as they arise. Often, we react impulsively to our feelings without taking a moment to reflect on why we feel a certain way. For example, when we're upset by criticism, we may immediately feel defensive, but by pausing and recognizing that the emotion stems from our own attachment to pride or insecurity, we can gain control over how we react. The Stoics believed that through mindfulness and self-reflection, we could learn to recognize the roots of our emotions and respond with rational thought rather than knee-jerk reactions. The Stoic practice of emotional intelligence also involves recognizing the impermanence of emotions. Emotions, like all things, are fleeting. Just as happiness is temporary, so too is sadness or frustration. By understanding this transitory nature of emotions, we can learn not to be overwhelmed by them. Instead of letting a negative emotion dictate our actions, we can acknowledge it, reflect on it, and then let it pass without allowing it to control us. This practice enables us to maintain emotional balance, no matter what life throws our way. Another important aspect of emotional intelligence in Stoicism is learning to separate our emotional responses from external events. While we cannot control the actions of others or the circumstances around us, we always have the power to choose how we respond. Stoicism teaches us that by focusing on our reactions and attitudes, we can preserve our inner peace. This allows us to face criticism, challenges, or conflict without losing our emotional equilibrium. By practicing emotional intelligence through the lens of Stoic philosophy, we gain greater self-control and mental clarity. We become less reactive to external events and more adept at responding with wisdom and composure. This emotional mastery is key to cultivating resilience and navigating life's uncertainties with a calm and steady mind. 7. Letting go of what we can't control. A central tenet of Stoic philosophy is the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. This distinction is vital in how we approach life's challenges and uncertainties. The Stoics teach us that much of our suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from our resistance to them. When we fight against things we cannot change, whether it's the actions of others, the past, or even certain aspects of the future, we only create frustration and anxiety. The Stoic solution is simple. Accept what you cannot control and focus all your energy on what you can. At its core, Stoicism asks us to recognize the limits of our power. While we can control our thoughts, actions, and responses, there are countless external factors such as the weather, the opinions of others, or the course of events that are beyond our influence. By accepting that these things lie outside our control, we free ourselves from the mental strain of trying to change them. Instead of spending time worrying about things we can't alter, we redirect our focus to how we can respond with wisdom, patience, and resilience. This practice of acceptance is not about passivity or resignation. The Stoics weren't advocating for inaction in the face of challenges. Instead, they emphasize the power of choosing our response to these challenges. For example, when confronted with criticism or conflict, we can choose to respond with calmness and reason, rather than reacting emotionally or defensively. In this way, Stoicism teaches us that our peace of mind is not determined by external events, but by how we choose to engage with them. Learning to let go of things beyond our control also means letting go of the need for certainty and perfection. Life is inherently unpredictable, and no matter how hard we try, we can never control every aspect of our future. By embracing uncertainty and accepting that things may not always go as planned, we open ourselves to a sense of freedom. We stop being held hostage by our fears and expectations, and instead, we embrace the unfolding of life as it comes. Ultimately, the Stoic approach to letting go of what we can't control empowers us to live with greater ease and clarity. By focusing on our actions, thoughts, and attitudes, those things we can control, we cultivate inner peace no matter what life presents. We learn that true freedom lies in releasing the need for control over the uncontrollable and instead finding peace in what is within our power to change. 8. Embracing amor fati, love of fate. One of the most profound teachings in Stoicism is the concept of amor fati, which translates to the love of fate. This idea encourages us to embrace all aspects of life, both the positive and the negative, as part of our journey. Amor fati teaches us not just to accept what happens, but to actively love it. Understanding that every event, good or bad, has value and purpose in shaping who we are. Rather than resisting the challenges life presents, we are encouraged to welcome them, knowing that they are essential to our personal growth and development. The Stoics believed that everything that happens, even hardship and adversity, serves a greater purpose. Instead of seeing obstacles as setbacks or burdens, we can choose to view them as opportunities to practice virtue and build resilience. For example, if we face a difficult situation, instead of lamenting the misfortune, we can ask ourselves how we can use it to develop patience, courage, or wisdom. By reframing challenges in this way, we transform them from sources of frustration into stepping stones for growth. Amor fati is not about passive resignation. where we simply endure life's difficulties. Rather, it's an active, intentional choice to embrace life as it is, with all its uncertainties and imperfections. When we love our fate, we release ourselves from the need to control or resist life's flow. We stop wishing things were different and begin to see everything that happens as necessary and meaningful. This mindset is liberating because it frees us from the anxiety of trying to control outcomes. It helps us stop living in constant fear of what might go wrong and instead empowers us to live fully, appreciating the present moment for what it is. The practice of amor fati encourages gratitude for all experiences, both joyful and painful, because they are part of the larger tapestry of our existence. By embracing amor fati, we shift our perspective on life. Instead of focusing on what we lack or what we wish had turned out differently, we learn to love life in all its forms. This acceptance, rooted in love for our fate, gives us a sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that everything that happens is an integral part of our path to becoming our best selves. 9. Stoic indifference. In Stoic philosophy, one of the most powerful practices is the concept of Stoic indifference. This principle teaches us to maintain a composed and balanced state of mind regardless of external circumstances. The Stoics emphasize that while we should care deeply about our character, actions, and virtues, we should remain indifferent to things that are beyond our control. This doesn't mean being apathetic or detached from life. Rather, it's about focusing our emotional energy on what we can influence and accepting that much of what happens in life is beyond our control. At its core, Stoic indifference is about understanding the distinction between what is within our power and what isn't. While we cannot control the behavior of others, the weather, or the course of events, we can control our thoughts, actions, and reactions. The Stoics taught that by letting go of attachment to external outcomes, we preserve our inner peace and prevent ourselves from being swept away by life's uncertainties. For example, imagine a situation where your plans are disrupted. Perhaps a flight is canceled or a project is delayed. Instead of becoming upset or frustrated, Stoic indifference encourages us to acknowledge the inconvenience without allowing it to disturb our inner calm. We understand that these external events are beyond our control and therefore they do not have the power to dictate our emotional state. Instead, we choose how to respond, focusing on what we can control, our attitude and our actions moving forward. This practice of indifference also helps us to avoid the extremes of overjoy or despair. The Stoics believed that excessive attachment to outcomes, whether good or bad, leads to emotional instability. By maintaining a balanced perspective, we avoid being overly elated when things go well or unduly distressed when things don't go as planned. Instead, we develop a steady, calm mindset that allows us to navigate life's fluctuations with wisdom and clarity. Stoic indifference empowers us to live more freely, without being slaves to external events or circumstances. It encourages us to focus on the things we can control and accept gracefully what we cannot. Through this practice, we cultivate resilience and emotional balance, enabling us to face challenges with a serene and composed mind. Chapter 10. Reflective Meditation. Reflective meditation is a vital Stoic practice that helps us control our minds and align our actions with our values. Unlike other forms of meditation that focus solely on clearing the mind, Stoic reflective meditation encourages deep introspection and thoughtful examination of our thoughts, behaviors, and experiences. By regularly engaging in this practice, we can gain greater self-awareness and make more intentional choices in our daily lives. At the heart of reflective meditation is self-examination. The Stoics believe that regular reflection is essential for understanding ourselves and the motivations behind our actions. Each day provides an opportunity to assess whether our thoughts, decisions, and behaviors align with the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. By reflecting on our actions, we can identify areas for improvement and make conscious efforts to grow and become better versions of ourselves. In addition to examining our actions, reflective meditation also involves evaluating our emotional responses to various situations. How did we respond to challenges? Did we react impulsively, or did we pause to consider our actions before reacting? The Stoic approach encourages us to learn from both positive and negative experiences, using them as opportunities for personal growth. By reflecting on our emotions and responses, we can gain insight into our thought patterns and develop greater emotional resilience. Another key aspect of Stoic reflective meditation is the practice of visualizing potential challenges and rehearsing how we would apply Stoic principles to those situations. By mentally preparing for adversity, we strengthen our ability to face difficulties with calmness and clarity when they arise in real life. This proactive approach helps us remain composed under pressure and prevents us from being caught off guard by unexpected challenges. Ultimately, reflective meditation helps us build an inner citadel, a mental fortress where we can find refuge and strength, regardless of the external chaos around us. It provides us with the tools to consistently align our actions with our core values and make decisions that reflect our best selves. Through daily practice of reflective meditation, we can cultivate a life of wisdom, tranquility, and personal growth, all while staying grounded in the Stoic ideal of living virtuously.